this is Portugal, that's the sun, and this is Triumph's all-new Tiger 1200. Well, they told us the sun wasn't going to come out today, but it definitely has, which is a good job because we're here for the launch of this. It's the new Triumph Tiger 1200, and it is new as well. Brand new engine, new chassis, pretty sexy. So we've got a long ride today on the road, and then tomorrow we're going to take so this is the GT that we're riding on the road. Tomorrow we're taking a Rally, which is one of these babies, on the off-road section. Cannot wait. Right, keyless ignition. So you press that, and so one of the problems with keyless ignition before was you had to wait for the dashboard to light up before you could start the engine, but this actually starts quite quick. They said that's one of the things that they've addressed. Let's take it for a spin. Well, it certainly sounds a lot different to the old bike with its T-plane crank. It's got an uneven firing order, this engine, like the Tiger 900. So I guess most people are fairly familiar with uneven firing orders these days. But if you don't know what that means, it just means the engine doesn't go bang 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 bang. It goes bang 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 bang. So today's ride is all on the road. I thought that the shifter lever was a little bit low, but I don't think it is. I think it's just that I've got new boots on, and I wasn't getting my foot all the way underneath it. So perhaps when my new Tech 7s have worn in a little bit, it might be a bit easier. We'll see. There was a lot of talk last night in the product presentation when they told us about all the 5 new Tiger 1200 models, that this is a bike that's going up against the BMW GS. They made it quite clear that that was the main competition, and Triumph reckon that they've built a bike that's better in every way than the GS. I mean, on paper it sounds really, really good, but it's not until you get out and ride the things that you can really tell. And so far it's an impressive bike. It's impressing me. It's comfortable. It's got plenty of grunt. That new engine has another 9 horsepower and another 10 newton meters, I think. So it's a fairly big step up from the last Tiger 1200, which was a good bike anyway. And it's 25 kilograms lighter than the old one. I think they said it's 17 kilograms lighter than the GS, and even more kilograms lighter than the GS if you were to spec the GS up to the level of the sort of equivalent Tigers. I really like the engine. It's a proper spread of power. It doesn't really matter where you are in the revs. There's always a bit of pull. It revs really high if you need it to, but I think you shouldn't really need to. Maybe if you're really trying to get a move on, that kind of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 RPM range is just lovely smooth power, progressive. It's a tiny bit with that T-plane crank. If you kind of let the revs drop right down, it's a little bit chuggy, but just don't let the revs drop as far down as that. I mean, it's a little while ago since I rode the last Tiger 1200, but it didn't. That one didn't sort of strike me as a mega light bike, whereas this could actually be a much smaller bike. Could be the 900 until you open the throttle. This is 58% more powerful than the Tiger 900, but only 10% more heavy, 10% heavier. Adjustable screen there, which is only hydraulic. Excuse me. Brakes dead sharp as well. Brembo styling calipers on this, so you'd expect nothing less. But there's a tiny bit of, when you first open the throttle, we're in sport mode now. Just coming around these slow corners, the first bit of throttle is just a little bit, ooh, you bugger. Do you know what I mean? Bit, Once it's driving, it's smooth, but maybe we'll change the mode. Do you see that? You feel that? Well, I don't know if you feel it or see it or hear it. It's just a bit. I'm trying to be as light as I can on the throttle, but oh shit! But it's obviously not light enough. Yeah. Tell you what, if you want to go and ride your bike on some great roads, Portugal is not a bad place to come. Because these are great. Beautiful nick, beautiful scenery, and there's also a really nice smell. It's very like forest pines. Like it smells like one of them posh candles. Well, this is the GT Explorer. So as I said before, you've got the GT bikes and then the rally bikes. The GT bike's been the more road focused options. This is the GT Explorer. It's got a 30 litre fuel tank. Obviously the advantages of having a shaft drive over a traditional chain and sprockets, you slightly less maintenance. You have to oil your chain, adjust your chain. It's never something that I've found to be too much of a chore. That horn's got a bit of a delay. Oh, taking a piss. All these new 1200 Tigers come with electronic suspension. Now it's the Showa electronic suspension rather than the more common Öhlins kit, and feels pretty plush. Oh fucking hell, I just scraped the peg on the floor then by accident. The 4 rider modes are Rain, Road, Sport and User. User is the one that you would set it in if you wanted to, you know, adjust more stuff and really go into all of the different rider aids and tweak them individually. But all of the modes, it doesn't just affect the power, it affects how the suspension works as well. So you've got like when you go into adjust the suspension, you get it on a sliding scale, if you like. So it goes from comfort at one end to sport at the other end. Comfort obviously being a bit softer and a bit more plush, and sport that's obviously a bit stiffer and a bit sportier. One of the big differences between this Showa system on these bikes and the Öhlins systems on a lot of the other bikes is this adjusts the preload as well as just the damping. A lot of other bikes with different systems, the electronic suspension only electronically adjusts the damping settings, whereas this adjusts the damping settings as well as the preload. So if you get on this bike, fill a 30 litre fuel tank up, put your missus on the back and all your baggage, it'll adjust the preload to set the ride height roughly where it needs to be as best it can. What's new about this, the new Tiger 1200? Well, lots. First of all, the engine is completely different. You've got a different firing order, so it's a T-plane crank now, similar to the Tiger 900. Uneven firing order, which gives the bike a bit more mid-range without sacrificing too much top end. So it's now got more power, 150 horsepower, more torque, 130 newton meters of torque, and at 240 kilograms, it's 25 kg lighter than the last one. Oh, we've got a friend, Lassie's come to see us. Is that still rolling? There's 5 new models of Tiger 1200. This, which is the GT Explorer. There's a GT Pro, the base model GT, and then on the off-road side of the spectrum, there's the Rally and the Rally Explorer. The Explorer versions have got 30 litre fuel tanks. Is that a bit woofy? For fuck's sake. Oh, he's a fucking idiot, look. He's barking at nothing. Oh no, he's barking at that dog. Barking at Lassie. That's an ugly dog as well, isn't it? There's loads of tech on all 5 models, including electronic suspension. That's the Showa electronic suspension. You've got
TFT dash on them all, LED lights, cruise control, heated seats, heated grips, all the kit. Last night in the presentation for this bike, they talked about the BMW GS quite a lot. It's very clear that Triumph are pitching this to GS customers. And to be fair, on paper, it looks as though it ought to be every bit as good as that bike. And it's a little bit cheaper as well. So, let's do some more miles.
Oh, you fucker. Pressed the horn there by accident. It's one of the things that I guess you got to deal with when you want a bike with so many buttons. So this is the Rally Explorer, the Triumph Tiger Rally Explorer. Obviously the more off-road biased bike. One of the big differences is the spoked wheels and the fact that the front wheel is a 21-incher. But I'm not expecting the same agility on this bike. I guess if you want agility, then it would be the GT that you probably go for over this. This is a more, I think this looks sexier. I think it looks more aggressive, more adventure-y, more, what's the word? I don't know what the word is. But they said they expect to sell the ratio of rallies to GTs. They would expect it to be about 60-40 in favour of the GTs. So they expect to sell 60%. 60% of the new Tigers they expect to be GTs, which I can sort of get, because as we all know, most people that buy bikes like this probably aren't going to spend a lot of time off-road, if any. But it's obviously nice to have that capability. The Rally also feels quite a bit taller. Well, it's a higher seat to start off with, but it feels a bit more commanding, a bit more, nearer an off-road bike, nearer a kind of more of a motocrossy stance, which suits me. I like it. I like being a bit higher up. So I'll see if I can get in Simon's blind spot, see if I can make his light turn on. Are you watching? Whoa! Are you watching? Oh, there we go, look. I'm coming. Yeah, good system. I like that. Safety first. Oh shit. Got there with the coppers then. Saw a bit of high vis. Thought the 5.0 had showed up to arrest us all. We've got the bike in off-road pro mode now, which is a lot of fun because of the fact that the traction control and the ABS isn't on, so you can do big wheelies and skids and stuff. But as soon as I put it in this mode, I felt the bike almost lift itself up as it wound the preload on automatically. So now we've all of a sudden got, it feels like we've got a load more travel in the suspension almost. It feels as though we're higher up, and it feels, the whole bike's a little bit more wallowy, which probably works for off-road riding, but it's making these corners a bit whoa, so I might change it back in a minute, or I might just keep doing wheelies. Well, we're still on the Rally Explorer, but I've just put it into sport mode rather than off-road mode, and it's instantly, it feels like a different bike. It's much stiffer, much more supported, and way better for this type of road. I think it's alright putting it in off-road mode just to have a play with it on these roads, but yeah, it stands to reason, doesn't it, that if you're riding on a road and you want to ride in a sporty way, you're better off in that mode. But just the way it holds itself up on the brakes, supports itself up in the corners, and doesn't squat when you get on the throttle, just from the touch of a button. I would try and move that gear shift up a little bit. It's a little bit too low down for me. I don't think it's just because I'm wearing these boots. I think whatever boots I was on, for my feet, that'd just be in the wrong position. But other than that, this is a very, very good adventure bike. In fact, I'd have to say it is one of the... Ooh, we're slowing down. Yeah, I'd have to say it is one of the best adventure bikes I've ridden. It's alright saying all them things, but to be fair, a lot of the other bikes are tick all them boxes as well. But piggy. Right, smell them buggers. This is one of the first bikes I've ridden in quite a while that's made me want to just go travelling. Want to just get on a bike, stick a load of luggage on it and go around Europe, go and explore some stuff. Because we've done quite a lot of miles on this so far today, and it's just it's delightful. It's a dream. I don't know what I would change really, apart from maybe that shifter that's a little bit too low for me. And in sport mode, it's got just enough. Even this, the Rally with the big front wheel, it's still got enough sportiness. It still feels sharp enough that you could actually, you know, these roads we're not giving it absolute berries, but you know, some of the roads we haven't been hanging about on, and it's just laps it up, no problems at all. When you start going a little bit faster, that initial sort of turning into the corners on this one, the Rally compared to the GT, just feels a bit heavy. Heavy's probably not the right word. It's kind of more a little bit, almost a little bit nervous. You kind of feel like you've got to pull it a little bit harder, and it maybe doesn't always want to. But I think it's just that 21-inch front wheel compared to the way up there, compared to the 19 on the GT. I suppose that's to be expected, you know. And also the fact that this bike's got off-road, well, not off-road tyres. It's got a more adventure type of a tyre on it with a tread pattern that's going to move around a lot more than the tyres that were on the GT. But it's still doing everything I kind of need it to, everything I want it to. And I still think if I was going to have one, it'd be this. It'd be the Rally. Whether it'd be the Explorer with the great big 30-litre tank on it, I don't know. Even with a 20-litre fuel tank, you're going to get a few miles done, aren't you, before you need to stop. So I've rattled on about what I do like about this bike. Let me tell you one thing I'm not so keen on. The electronics, although they're all really good, you know, they dynamically they work well on the bike. I always find, and it's the same on a lot of Triumphs, I find myself getting lost in the sort of myriad of buttons and dials and menus on the screen. It's some things you can do when you're moving, some things you can't do when you're moving. So it's hard to know whether you're doing it wrong or you just need to stop. Or now I'm changing the rider modes inadvertently. You've got a big home button on that side that you can press to bring you back, but yeah, again, it might be one of the things that you get used to if you own the bike, but I'm not even so sure it is, because I think for most people, however many modes you've got on your bike and however many you know, however much you can alter the settings and the rider aids, I think most people probably find a setting that they quite like and leave it in that most of the time. But then when they do want to change, you've got to remember how you did it last time. It might have been 3 weeks ago since you last went through your modes. It might have been 3 weeks ago since you last rode the thing. So yeah, that could be easier. Come on ladies, £1 fish. Have a look, £1 fish. Very, very good, very, very cheap. Oh, it was in my blind spot. Johnny's, whoa, shithouse. I don't know if you can hear the tyre noise on this, just with it being the Rally and having the slightly more off-road biased tyres. It's a bit more road noise. It's not the end of the world. Can live with that. Absolutely phenomenal, the old bait. Well, we're approaching the hotel again now after quite a long day in the saddle. So I thought I'd just try and summarise my thoughts on the Tiger 1200 on the road before we take it off road, which is tomorrow. Now, like I said before, they're pitching this against the GS because, you know, I think think a lot of people would put the GS at the sort of top of the pile when it comes to big adventure bikes. Obviously, there's a lot of other big adventure bikes. Is it as good as the GS? Is it as good as the rest? Well, I honestly think that the upgrades they've made to what was already a really good bike has definitely put this something like on a par with the best big adventure bikes out there. You know, it's fast enough, it's the engine's dead smooth, the brakes are lovely, it feels light, and you know, for such a tall 1200, you know, a tall bike and a 1200cc bike, it is fairly agile, it's fairly nimble. You know, some of the roads we was throwing it about on were, you know, you wouldn't put it down as a 1200. You know, you'd maybe think it was a middleweight. The way it handled, I think it looks great. I mean, not everyone will like this particular kind of dark khaki matte colour scheme. I don't know what they call it. I quite like it, but you know, beauty's in the eye of the what's the name? Hey, up there, we're slowing down. So yeah, in conclusion, I don't know if this is the best big adventure bike going, but
it's certainly up there with the best. Stay tuned to find out how we got on off-road on the Tiger 1200.
oh shit, whoa, way up there.
Video coming soon.